there?
Here.
Can you hear me?
In there. Yeah, you can hear me. You can hear me or no? Josh, you hear me or no? Josh, is your your output working? I feel like you're not reacting. All right, I'm gonna go live, Josh. Josh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm just... Here, what's up, guys? Happy Friday. Narrative Friday. I'm Gun. Twitter.com/Gundacker. Fix your output. And that's Josh. And Josh apparently doesn't hear me. But it's all good, though. We'll get it fixed up, man. How we doing, chat, on a Friday afternoon? Feeling nice out here, right? What's up, chat? Mia Moore, Skimmer, Steve, RC Player, Chris Smith says, I need hear it in League of Legends for $600. Man, my esports career for PrizePicks was a fun week. Mox says the ad before the show was for an anti-gambling bill. Whew. Well, appreciate the money, anti-gamblers. What up, Willie? Yankee gun shooting blanks? No, never that. Never that. Super logical, yeah. What up, Eric? Skimmer. Hey, Doranzo. So let's boost those Trailblazer TV ratings. Yes, sir. There we go. Oh, my God, Josh, you can hear me. It's a miracle.
My computer just likes to switch its output sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, my computer. So, like, yesterday I did the PrizePicks stream. I didn't touch a single thing. I switched over to the for the DFS stream, and the camera feed just disappears. Like, nothing changed. So that's the worst, because then I got to fix it on the fly. And I was solo, so I couldn't, like, have somebody kill some air for me. But yeah, technology is something, right?
Yeah.
What's up, Josh? How you been? You had a day off? You left us?
Yeah. I missed you guys, man, but I'm glad to be back. And, you know, these Friday streams, we always try to make a good time with it, right? And have some good laughs, so I'm looking forward to it.
Happy hour is upon us.
Yeah.
$1 minimum bet on PrizePicks. So if you're balling on a budget on a Friday night, hey, you can go get down, get you some $1 tickets, grind up, climb that ladder. Steve said that Chris Paul didn't work out. He played 30 minutes, scored 17 points. Man, I almost ran after Suns money line, but I stayed after. I didn't touch it, but I should have. Right. What up, Doug? I need that bounce back night. Had a rough one last night. It do be like that. Last night was all right. I think Alex Caruso was like the only real blemish, and kind of like double blemished because obviously he was in foul trouble, and then the minutes he played, he just wasn't productive. And then if he had like his over 1.5 steals, at one point he was credited for 2 steals, and then they corrected it back down to 1, and then he basically cost C.J. McCollum his 7th assist on a complete garbage time play. So Alex Caruso he was out for violence last night, and I don't know that he knew that we needed so much to happen. But
he's on the hate list now, right? For a lot of people, probably.
He might be replying to DeJounte Murray about, boy, they hate when them parlays don't hit, don't they?
Him and Kevin Durant, they're all just gonna be chilling, talking about that.
But what
I saw Devin Booker, man. So he almost had 50 points, right?
Yeah, Booker, big. I don't want to say narrative around him, but he's been low key salty that he's not in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, well, there's some narrative on some with him in March 24th, man. I think March 24th was the day that he scored 70 points too against the Celtics, where he had that monster game.
Oh, we'll have to keep that one in the chamber. The March 24th splits. Yep.
It's real with him.
Back in the day, the wrestler Kane.
Yeah.
So
the brother of Undertaker, right?
Yeah. He was in this scary movie that they were pushing. I forget what the name of it was. Chat, help me out. But the release date for it was May 19th. So like they did a whole like month of storylines where like this voice would whisper May 19th and like in the middle of his matches and stuff. Maybe Devin Booker's March 24th. March 24th.
Let's try to remember that for the upcoming next seasons.
Oh man. What up, Rick Anderson? I just used your promo code on PrizePicks, man. I appreciate that. You guys don't understand. You guys, I don't know if you play other video games like we play Fortnite. You use creator codes. Using a code on PrizePicks definitely helps out the creator that you are tailing there. So it does go a long way to supporting these daily live streams and keeping everything vibe heavy and free. Mox says Monte Morris saved my night. CP3 had 2 points going into half and scores 15. You just knew they wanted to get it over with, right? Get that 1 seed locked up and start cruising. And they hit a different gear, you know. Caruso and Porzingis man, Porzingis tried at the end, but it was just too far gone.
Those Wizards, man, those Wizards.
Eric said they paid out for Caruso's steal prop, and then DraftKings went back in and withdrew those funds from the people's account. Oof. Yeah, it's tough. Those defensive stats are so, I won't say fluky, but there's not a lot. It's a scorer's judgment at the table. And, sometimes there's some home cooking favoritism. And then sometimes there's some interpretation on what is a block, what is a steal, who gets a rebound when it's tipped away. And, it's definitely not a perfect science, but you know what is a perfect science? Josh's work. I don't know. Josh is a scientist. God dang it! I was trying to make a segue.
I got you.
I should say, you know what is a perfect science? This show.
Yeah, this show for sure.
And it becomes more and more informative and valuable to you by hitting the thumbs up, and the more thumbs up that there are, the better the show is. So, like, you guys want a good show? Then hit that thumbs up. And let's talk about some NBA tonight. So we got a couple hours really ahead of us. Josh has agreed to be on the DFS show after this. So Don't feel like we are pinching for time here. If there's something that we should revisit in an hour or two, we can definitely do so. But we're going to try to hyper-focus on just kind of like price picks and what props are standing out. But it's not to say during the DFS show we won't look back and revisit some thoughts on props. But tonight, there's 7 games on the docket, And there's a couple of there's a couple of okay, and then there's a Blazers game, which we all know.
I thought you were saying uh-huh.
Yeah. So we got Wizards at the Pistons. Kyle Kuzma's out in that one. Pistons getting relatively healthy, all things considered, versus what they have had on their injury report in the last month or so. 221 total. Wizards night 2 of a back-to-back. They have not looked great. They fell completely flat last night against just Drew Holiday of the Bucks. They were without Middleton and Giannis. And Porzingis has played some back-to-backs now, and the Wizards have stuff to play for, right, Josh? So I don't know that the Pistons and Wizards is a game I want to get in bed with here, especially with the Pistons getting a little bit more healthy. Like, if I did want to get some action, I'd probably be thinking about like a Cunningham prop or something like that. Maybe an Isaiah Stewart rebound prop or something like that. But is there anything here that you are privy to, or is this one of those write-off games?
Yeah, I mean, since it's only 7 games, I guess, you can't, maybe we don't write off an entire game, but I mean, I always like Cade for his upside. He's going to fill the stat line. I mean, still have him at 6 assists. He's been dishing it out even with Killian Hayes in the mix. I am worried about that backcourt now. I just assume they're just going to give Cade as many minutes as he wants going forward until the end of the season, especially so he can get that Rookie of the Year and just get more miles under him. So I could get with his assist prop, and then what do you have him for fantasy score right now?
Right now I got Cade at 44 fantasy points for PrizePicks scoring, which would be a 5-point margin difference between their 39 and mine.
Okay. I might consider that. Yeah.
Looking at, I'll tell you what, let's do since the All-Star break usage rate for Cade Cunningham. But yeah, they're really starting to let him shine. First pick. It makes sense this stretch to just let him go out there and get all the reps he can get. But since the All-Star break, a 30% usage rate, 28% assist rate, and just kind of been a little Swiss Army knife. And there's a lot of attackable props. The 1.5 threes, the 3 free throws, there's a couple of obscure low lines here. And he'll even get some rebounds and assists. And since the All-Star break, you mentioned that 28% assist rate, maybe you can get talked onto that. I do feel like, no matter what, it ends up being not a warm and fuzzy must click. But 6 assists is certainly something that we've seen him meet or eclipse in really the last, 7, 8, 10 games, something like that. So certainly live to do well there. He is a rebounder. There's a little bit of a do-it-all. So I do think if you want to throw a blanket over everything, that's pretty smart too. And the fantasy points are just as live because he can get those blocks and steals. So maybe not a core play to start with, but something if we're starting to get the juices flowing, we'd probably pencil down Cade Cunningham. What are you thinking? Fantasy points here just for blankets? Yeah.
But, I think fantasy point number 1 and then maybe assist number 2.
Okay, let's do that. Cade Cunningham assist. And for those of you that are wondering what the heck I'm doing is I have a notepad open. I'm just typing stuff that we end up kind of agreeing on. But those, I feel like those are not going to be core plays for us, but that's just something that we're getting cranked up with. Looking at this front court for the Pistons, they do have Isaiah Stewart at 9 rebounds, which is an intriguingly low number because he is such a rebound guy. However, if he crosses past with a high usage big like Porzingis, and there is Jeremy Grant, Marvin Bagley, Kelly Olynyk, there's plenty of centers in that front court. I don't think I'm going to force the issue. Kojo's 13.5 PRA feels low, but they did return Killian Hayes and guys like that in that guard rotation. So I do think I'm probably going to ultimately try and stay away from this game if I can help it, just because the Wizards are the Wizards and they become kind of unfortunately unpredictable. So yeah, let's try to move on here and get a feel for some other stuff here. Let me get caught up on chat. What up to Juan Balderas Thomas Pruitt in the chat? Tom says, "Do we trust Luka in a bounce back for free throws tonight?" I think we will. We'll get there. Hawks are going to win tonight. Trey drops 45 points. I'm with that one. Hawks need to win, right? We're getting to that point of the season. What are we, 8 games or less for most teams? There's teams that want to win for positioning. There's teams that are fighting for a playoff spot. There's teams that are tanking. The Thunder and was it Blazers or Thunder and Magic the other night was the tank bowl. The lineups they were producing was pretty embarrassing. And then there's teams like the Suns that are pretty much going to be coasting. Heck, was it Ty Lue? The Clippers announced that they were going to have minutes limits for a lot of their starters now, as they've kind of settled into what they're going to be doing once the regular season ends for the postseason. So it is going to get a little bit weird in some spots going forward. But a guy like Trae Young right now, he's fully incentivized to go out there and get dubs. But that was the same situation as the Pistons game the other night, and it didn't quite go that well. But I don't hate that take there, Juan. Wayne's World says, "Do the Heat get it after it tonight after that sideline BS last game?" Maybe that it's either that they have a come to Jesus team meeting, or Jimmy Butler just starts putting himself in a bubble like we've kind of seen him do in a couple of teams past, right? Where he's just like kind of standoffish. So we're monitoring that, but the Heat are coming off two losses that you just can't explain this deep into a season as a 1 seed, where they lost to no Embiid, no Harden Sixers, and then the G League Warriors, plus a little trouble in paradise. So it's unfortunate, but maybe they'll come correct. If you think about a science ever invents time travel, it'll practically be over for sports betting. Whoa, that just got deep. What the heck? Or will the bookie have the machine, and he'll just set perfect lines? And Paul George might be back soon. Yeah, maybe the Clippers are surprised. I think this playoffs is going to be fun. I'm pretty like Suns, Grizzlies, and Celtics are like teams that I think are fundamentally great. And those are kind of like the teams that I think are going to end up going a long way. Maybe be boring for finals viewing and ratings and whatnot. But this is definitely got the feel of a postseason where it doesn't feel like a two-legged or two-headed race, right? It's not like, it's the Warriors and Cavs for 5 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, there's a lot of teams that you flip a switch in the postseason. Could be fun. Jazz at the Hornets.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's just gonna come down to whoever's the hungriest, and like you said, flips that switch for sure.
Oh, shizzle. Utah Jazz, that's Charlotte Hornets. We got a 228.5 total in this one, 4-point spread in favor of the visiting Hornets, visiting Jazz. The Hornets have been playing pretty decent basketball when it comes to offensive efficiency lately, and a lot of that I think is directly correlated to LaMelo Ball playing better. Yeah. All right, you can look at the stretch where LaMelo struggles. The team kind of struggles when LaMelo Ball's kind of reaching his potential. The team's thriving a little bit better. So offensively, they're great. Defensively, they're still very, very susceptible to big games, and they still run a high pace here. And this Jazz team generally runs low in pace. And without Bojan Bogdanovic, we've seen Donovan Mitchell kind of be the feature point of this offense. So this might be a fun night to target the Utah Jazz in DFS. For this game, I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell, and I'm kind of wondering what we might be able to pull away with him, because it certainly feels like one of those matchups where Spider Mitchell should have 25, 30 real points and go from there. Yeah. They've got his threes at 4. That's interesting. I wish it was at 3.5. I do.
Yeah.
But this is since without Bojan Bogdanovic, they've certainly been a pull-up, chuck it type of team. I mean, 12, 15, 17 shots from behind the arc. If we look at the team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, the Utah Jazz, they're right up there with Minnesota for scoring the most points via the 3-ball every game. And if we look at the Charlotte Hornets in their 3-ball defense, they give up the second most points per game via the 3-ball. So this is a really good matchup for the Utah Jazz team philosophy of, hey, let's shoot 3-point shots at the rim and hope they go in. I think 4 is definitely hefty, but it's one of those, maybe it pushes, but the volume is absolutely going to be there. And you look at the last couple matchups for Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz, they're coming to get off a game against the Celtics. Hey. Yo, Jamar Young, I appreciate that follow. A game against the Celtics. Celtics are tougher defense, but Brooklyn, New York, Chicago, and Milwaukee, all matchups that are similar in terms of being less than league average in three-pointers allowed, and the volume's just going to be there. So it is an uncomfortable click, but I do think Donovan Mitchell 4 is live, and it also is real points. What do you think on anything on the Jazz here? And is 4 threes from Donovan Mitchell too much for you? I feel like push is the most likely outcome, but I could see 6-7 threes for him here.
It's a really good point. I didn't think they would even post it on the board today. They took it down for the last couple games for him. But yeah, I wish it was 3.5. If it was 3.5, I would lock it in.
So
I'll say, 4, I'm gonna think about it.
I'll say a lot of books right now are have Mitchell at 4.5.
Okay.
So
okay. That's a good point.
PrizePicks will probably adjust throughout the day. So 4 right now is kind of a safe spot. I do think I feel like at worst a push is likely here, and I'll take the push because I think the matchup's that fine for him to slam that over because of the volume there. Sure. I've ran this query before. Donovan Mitchell, 3-pointers attempted without Bojan Bogdanovic by game log last 15 games. Hopefully it understands what I'm saying. Hopefully. So he has in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games without Bojan Bogdanovic has taken 11 or more attempts from downtown. And in those games, 3, 5, 7, 9, 5, 4. So essentially has pushed or defeated this line in all but one game, and that one game came against the best defense on planet Earth. So I'm kind of digging it. I think I'm gonna put it back. We're gonna add it to the Cade Cunningham fringe area. Over 4 3-pointers.
Yeah, I like it. I like it too. I mean, I'm glad it's back. What about its point?
27.5.
They juiced it. It opened at 26.5.
12, 15. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong column here. I don't mind it because I do think that the implied total here it does bode pretty well. Those games without Bojan, 37, 30, 36, 37, 29. So he's defeated that number in 5 straight. It gets a little flimsy beyond that, but this is going into like the playoffs 2 years ago. Every game this season, he has exceeded this line, specifically 27.5. And like we said, this matchup against the Charlotte Hornets certainly will create a couple more implied possessions because of the Hornets' pace. And the Utah Jazz, sometimes on the road, don't play quite as locked down as they do in the cozy confines of Utah here. So I could get behind his points as well. His points is probably a great way to throw a blanket over his offensive usage. So I'll probably have a little bit of exposure to both. But yeah, I think he can certainly beat that number. And then I've got him for 48 fantasy points. They've got him for 42. So I did get about a 6-point cushion there between their projection and mine. And I think there's plenty of Spider Mitchell lines that we can add to the blender here and spew out in some cards tonight.
What? And then what? Talk to me about your boy Gobert, man. This guy, he has just been so up and down this season, and they finally added a block steal prop for him. I thought I'd never see that day. I guess it's because he's just like not doing it this season. What do you think? And if it's rebound prop at 14.5, I thought it was gonna be 13 or 13.5. That's crazy.
I mean, he's still averaging 2 blocks a game, over 2 blocks a game, over half a steal per game.
Yeah. I guess it's just unlike him where I've seen him where he's just gone with the whole game without a stock.
It's at 2.5. So I mean that's fair. That's tempting fate on his season average. So if it was at 1.5, I'd be almost all in here. But the rebounds is probably a little too much to get behind on this slate. I usually when rebounds and assists get to like 10, I kind of just like stay away. But that's certainly a lane he could be. But that's a good piece of information to take with us on the DFS streets. When a guy's implied for 14 to 15 rebounds, I'm in on that. Yeah, I don't think there's anything early on Gobert that I would like. If Whiteside's Q tag, yeah, I was gonna say if Whiteside's Q turned into an O, I think his fantasy points will project pretty well. Right now, I got him at 45, and that's probably the ultimate way to get access to everything that Rudy Gobert is good at, and that's versus his 39 fantasy point projection. So a 6-point gap between my projection and theirs. And then let me go check out that Utah Jazz injury report and see if there's a little bit of a lean on what we might expect for Mr. Whiteside. Cause I'm Mr. Whiteside. Right foot sprain. He played 15 minutes off the bench. So okay, so keep an eye on that. If he can't go, then yeah, it could be a little deeper run there for Rudy. Any Hornets love? So I mentioned the Jazz. They score most of their points from three. Well, Hornets, you mentioned it on the stream on your YouTube video this morning, the first look PrizePicks video that is put up just about every day right now. You guys should be checking that out. It's a good piece of content to start your day. But you mentioned LaMelo Ball, 3-pointers. They did? All right. Yep. Well, he's at, what, 3 threes?
Yeah. It was at 2.5 last night.
Ooh, okay. Well, it's on you, bro. You did this.
Yeah,
it's still. We're talking 4 for Donovan. He's still chucking 8+ threes as of late. So can he hit 4 of them? I guess we use that OddsJam tool to cross-reference what we might be looking at for Donovan Mitchell. We can just scroll down and look at LaMelo. They have LaMelo minus 48 over 2.5 on FanDuel. Looks like that's about norm. So it looks like we are paying a little bit more implied to take it at 3 versus the books. Maybe not so much. I don't know. The line is a little bit more aggressive versus the industry standard. And we still got to remember the Hornets can be pretty volatile game to game. One game could be the Rozier game, the Bridges game, the Oubre game.
The IT.
Isaiah Thomas game. So I'm willing to not force the issue with this LaMelo Ball line, but it is still intriguing. And then just generally I've been kind of avoiding the Hornets if I had to, to stay away from isolating. I know in chat there's always some love for Terry Rozier's blocks and steals. That's up there at 1.5. But I don't have anything that's looking like it's going to be a warm and fuzzy click for me. Anything you still want some LaMelo Ball or nah?
I mean, he's playing really well lately. But he's due for regression at any moment. We know his style and how he treats us, especially you, Gunn.
Yeah.
I mean, when Gunn goes heavy on him, he'll go out and get 3 fouls in the first quarter.
We'll never forgive you.
I mean, but the upside's there. So his fantasy score, I feel like, is live on any slate. But it's just not a great matchup. I mean, I know the Jazz defense is not what it's been over the years this year, but it's just that pace they play, and they are gonna try to bring the pace down for the fast-paced Hornets. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. It's on the back burner as mid-tier right now.
Yeah. Shout out to the live chat, man. Cooper Wallace says, is it X16 for 4 NBA players and 1 college player in a 5-leg? So Cooper, don't quote me on this one, but I believe we discovered yesterday that you don't even have to play a college player. At least that was for yesterday. Maybe someone in chat can verify. But yesterday somebody in the Discord said that it wasn't necessary to play a college player. But I think it was I'm not sure. If someone in chat can help him out. What up, Danny P? Mock says, hey guys. Oh yeah, shout out to Mock Wall. He won the $20 giveaway we did on yesterday's channel. Today's channel is different. On yesterday on the channel. Shout out to Mock. We'll probably do more giveaways next week. Probably do some rundfs.com membership giveaways, stuff like that, to reward you guys.
Likes? For number of likes? Or?
Well, so you didn't know I did it, but on your video yesterday, I posted a graphic that said everyone who commented on the video and was in the Discord
Oh, cool.
would be eligible to win
That's a good idea.
$20 via PayPal in a drawing.
Nice.
So we did that, and Mock won it.
Cool.
So I don't know if you noticed, but you had like a billion comments on your video yesterday.
I just thought it was because people liked it.
Oh no! Oh, you didn't know I bribed bribed
You
everyone.
bribed them into it, man.
Yo,
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this video I was like half asleep making. I was so tired because
Oh, no.
that was the day of the huge, massive slate, and I was like going on no sleep, man.
Bro, I feel bad, but that's funny at the same time, bro.
Yeah.
You must have been like so confident last night. Like, let's go, man! Look at all these people watching my. I mean, they're still watching, but it's just like people don't comment these days. So I was just trying to get some engagement with the channel.
I was like, oh man, no, the fam just wants to talk, man. And I was like, let's do it.
It's like everybody's been so nice to me. That's because you got big boobs. What? All right. Golden State Warriors, Atlanta Hawks on the slate as well. Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, James Wiseman, all out for the Hawks. All out for the Warriors. Hawks have Bogdanovic questionable. He's played through this Q tag in 2 straight games, so kind of lean him closer in than out. John Collins is out. He's been out for this stretch. The Warriors have been Jordan Poole and the Sunshine Gang. This is your expertise, man. Jordan Poole has been crushing it as of late. We've mentioned the sense of urgency for the Hawks to keep winning for positioning. So I thought that the two that would probably be the highest points of discussion would be Jordan Poole's points and Trae Young's points, and something involving those two guys. But do you have anything on the surface for either team here? Let's start with the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, Poole is he's just shooting it, man. I mean, he has to. There's really no one else. I mean, Wiggins is not shooting great. He's actually shooting at a career low field goal percentage right now.
Yeah.
Since the All-Star break. So
No,
yeah, it's all on
all-star.
Poole's back. He's All-Star, right? It's all on Poole's back. He's gotta do it. And so it makes me really like his point prop, and like I said, since he has to do everything, I like his assist prop too. I think it's too low at 4.5. He will distribute it. I mean, he's going to be the point with stuff out. So I'm kind of debating between both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know we could try to throw a blanket and do a PRA and fantasy, but I want to target either one. So probably just going to do exposure to one or the other and mix it up. Because yeah, I mean the assist. The only problem with the assist is that if he just gets hot and goes nuclear, he's just gonna pull up and chuck it every time, and you'll just not look to pass it. But if he's just having his normal game and getting up his normal shots, then it's definitely in play. But yeah, he's just an up and down guy. He's a very streaky shooter. He starts very slow, or cold, and then he'll tend to get hotter later in the game. So don't give up on him when he's 0 for 8 in the first half or first
What did we say? His first half under, second half overs every time, man.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and this matchup's great for him. It's the Hawks, right? It's that backcourt defense we've attacked all season. So the only thing that could really let us down is if he just goes cold the entire game. So I hope that's not the case. That's about it for the Warriors side. I don't trust anyone else right now. Like I said, Wiggins is just playing really bad, and Clay is just the broken Clay that we've seen since coming back. So I'm gonna hold off on him.
So Jordan Poole's point prop is 23.5, and looking at his last 10 games without Curry, he's eclipsed that in 7 of those 10, with the non-hit games coming in 33 minutes against Minnesota. We discussed that their defense could be legit. 33 minutes against New Orleans, he took 14 shots, just was very, very inefficient. And then he took, he took 14 shots against New Orleans. And then he took 15 shots against Toronto, ended up with just 10 points here. So 70% of his last 10 games without Steph Curry has been games where he's eclipsed his 23.5. And on this season, the Atlanta Hawks has certainly been one of the most poorest spots or has one of their most poorest spots defensively has been to opposing guards. So I'm gonna put over 23.5 as one of
Yeah.
the maybes.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole over
What,
23
what
and a
about
half.
his what about his 3.5 threes? It's high. That's another high. We're gonna get in trouble with threes today, but
Yeah.
it, he's that's where he's focusing his game on is the three ball. So he's trying to be like Steph out there.
I guess, yeah, we're looking at the shot volume from, shot attempts from these games 13, 13, 9, 12, 13, 7, 9,
It's
8,
just like
9.
Donovan.
Yeah, most of his shots. So I guess it is. So you're saying if he did eclipse 24 points,
Yes,
he probably hit 5 or 6 threes.
I would say so. Yes.
So 3.5 threes. All right, we'll add that to the maybe list. Jordan Poole over 3.5 threes. I will say all the stuff I have typed so far, none of it feels warm and fuzzy. So hopefully we get some stuff we can really feel good about.
Oh yeah.
But none of these don't make sense. I'm just saying, like, these are all like areas of discomfort. What a weird sentence. All right, let's flip it over to the Hawks side here. My boy Wayne's World, party time. He wants to talk about Danilo Gallinari assists. Right now, 1.5 on PrizePicks. He has been clearing this line pretty consistently. Let's look at Danilo Gallinari assist by game log. Let's go last 20 games here. How often has Gallo gotten us 2 or more assists? Well, it's been a recent thing, it looks like. Past that, it certainly has not been the case. But let's type in without John Collins and see if that narrows down the field here. It does not. So it looks like we're on a streak of assists for Gallo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Past that, the waters do get a little bit murky. So
What changed?
I mean, so in this particular query, I just looked at is John Collins in or not. John
Right.
Collins is really the only constant
Yeah.
that I can think of. Obviously, there's some games with Lou Williams out and stuff like that, but I don't know that does anything specifically. So this is where I get a little bit hesitant because a lot of research by content creators is really just looking at recent patterns and recency bias. It does feel light, and he has been hitting it, but I don't really have a reason behind this. So
Yeah, I need to know why. I need to know why this pattern, or if it's just like him just being lazy and not driving and shooting and just dishing it.
yeah, it could be. Let's see, what are these matchups here? The Knicks, Pelicans, Memphis, Charlotte, Indiana. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a. There's a couple bad defense, a couple good defenses. A lot of other than Knicks, a lot of fast-paced spots. So I don't know.
Okay. So just more shot volume.
It's
yeah.
intriguing, and then if you put some defensive pressure on him with Draymond and Wiggins, maybe
Sure.
a couple passes turn into some splashes. So I don't hate the call, but it certainly doesn't. Like it doesn't. 1.5 is this season average. So
Yeah, I don't get a good feeling when I don't know why the reason behind it. What about can we look for some free throw props here because the Warriors foul so much?
what? Trae Young, they have him.
Yeah, I mean he's
7.
been living on that line. I know he didn't get to the line against Detroit, but that was a weird game for him. But yeah, his prop is usually 7.5, and it's at 7 right now.
14, 8, 3, 11, 14, 12, 8. 7 certainly feels aggressive, just generally speaking, but justifiable considering his uses in the spot. I don't know. I'd probably rather sweat 3-pointers than free throws for Trae Young.
Yeah. Or I mean, I like his assist prop today too.
9. Okay, I
Yeah.
can get behind that. Let's go look at this on-off court tool here since we have it open and paint a picture. Trae Young. Let's take Collins off the court. And see what NBA Wally spits back. Trae Young has held a 46% overall assist rate since the All-Star break without John Collins on the court. Plenty of minutes and possessions to kind of heat us in that direction. Also, over 40% of his field goal attempts are three-pointers, so definitely could justify. Some days we get on a lot of assist props or free throw props the other day. I feel like today I'm like about three-pointers made, and this is uncomfortable. But
Hey, man, it's the new NBA. That's how it goes.
It really is. I have Trae Young at 60 fantasy points. They have him at 43. Your thoughts?
Do you think he'll clear it?
I mean, yeah.
17-point differential. Wow.
That's okay. Pretty drastic.
I'm gonna stick with that then. I know he's not made the Run DFS streets happy.
It's Trae Young. Hey, for the last couple of years, even before you got behind the walls, we've created this rule for Trae Young, and it's known as the 20% rule. It's like never more than 20%, never less, because he's just that volatile.
That's fair. Yeah.
But there is a pretty stark contrast between my projections on Trae Young for fantasy and theirs. I'll also say that I don't have Bogdan implied for minutes, so that's also probably why it's broken.
Okay.
Let me double check on the Bogdanovich news and information. I still think the over is live if he does play, but we'll see. Bogdanovich, right knee soreness, this is questionable, blah, blah, blah. All right, so he's still Q. He's been Q the last couple games. And in one of those Q games, he played and put up 30 real points. And then the second night, he wasn't nearly as impactful. So we'll keep an eye on that. And
I guess if he plays, we'll probably get off of Trey's fantasy point, right?
Maybe, but maybe not. If the game
seems like Bogdan, it just increases the odds that Trae doesn't get there point wise scoring.
Let's see how smart StatMuse is. Trae Young FTP by game log when Hawks score 110 points this season. Let's see if that's even possible. No. I got the J.R. Smith picture. Okay. Just wondering if that was something I could type up easily.
Yeah.
All right.
I can do it by hand.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, the giggles. All right.
I would say this though: if Bogdan is out, I'm probably gonna like his fantasy point the most. If he's in, then I'm gonna go with his Trey's 9 assists, or 3-point made. That's where I'm leaning.
Okay. I think the assist is really, really smart. Clint Capella averages 1.3 blocks per game and 0.7 steals per game. They actually have a blocks and steals line on him. Just want to put that out there and probably stand away. Clint Capella has certainly been very, very unfriendly to a lot of his backers lately. He was one of those first half guys that we were all about, and then lately not so much. For Capella.
Oh, they do 14. That's the lowest I've seen it. Or no, I guess it used to be down to 13.5 back in the early days of the season.
Yeah. All right, and then let's keep it moving. I don't think we have a core play yet. But I'll add Trae.
Hey, we haven't gotten to the core game yet. That's why.
Okay. When the night hinges on the freaking Rockets and Blazers, I'm Trae Young over. Let's go points. 3. Bro, you are you drunk?
No, I just can't. I still laughing about that clip, man. Still laughing about it.
Making me lose track here. Wayne's World says, I can't read that. It says Capella licks white dog dung. Knicks at the Heat. Next game on the docket. We got 215 total here. 7.5 points spread in favor of the home team Miami Heat. Lots of news here. So let's get caught up on the Knicks side. Julius Randle has missed a couple of games to really heighten the usage for RJ Barrett. He's still carrying a questionable tag here with sore right quadriceps. And then Mitchell Robinson, lower back soreness is questionable. And if either one of those guys can't go or both can't go, you might see what we saw in the I believe, Hornets game where Obi Toppin and Jericho Sims was that front court. Break down the walls. On the Heat side, lots of Q tags to get through over here. But Miami, most notably Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero. Jimmy Butler, of course, part of that controversial in-game moment where Coach Spoelstra slammed his clipboard, and then Udonis Haslem had to be physically restrained from putting hands on Jimmy Butler. And sometimes that's a situation that could go two different ways. Jimmy Butler, we've seen it go the other way in the last 3 tries. Jimmy Butler is officially listed with a right ankle sprain. Tyler Hero listed with a left knee sprain. That was enough to hold him out of the last game. Duncan Robinson has a right Achilles irritation, put in a Q tag next to him. PJ Tucker listed questionable. All right, all these Qs, they can't possibly have heat lines, huh? They don't. Okay, so then I'm just blowing smoke, literally.
But it's Narrative Friday. We got some narrative in that game.
Okay, well,
I mean,
we don't have lines. I mean, what's the narratives? I guess
it's like Kyle Lowry's birthday.
All right.
Maybe they have a birthday party all together and resolve everything.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so I mean, there's nothing to talk about. We don't have information. I can't imagine we're gonna get lines. I guess theoretically, if Jimmy was out, we'd be suckered into Lowry assist prop. We'd probably definitely like Bam Adebayo's fantasy points. If Jimmy and Tyler Hero were out, it would, again, all roads lead to Bam Adebayo right now, based on some news. You feel like a couple of those Qs could be an O. And then the Knicks side of things, if Tucker and Adebayo are in, this Heat has been one of the toughest front courts in basketball, so it's not going to be a spot to feel warm and fuzzy on Randall and Mitchell Robinson. Anyway, Randall might be able to usurp some pessimism with just high usage and high minutes, but I think RJ Barrett, maybe Alec Burks would be the two guys we'd have to run a comb through and think about it,
Yeah, what an ugly game, right?
Mm-hmm. Metrically, yeah, two very slow-paced teams, and it's not a favorable
lowest implied
spread.
Total,
Mm-hmm.
or is it the second lowest implied? I think it's the lowest implied. Yeah.
Mavericks at the T-Wolves. We're running it back. Luka versus Patrick Beverly, round 2 fight. 228.5 total. A Q tag on Cat. He has played through a Q tag for 2 or 3 games now, so I'm probably gonna lean him being in. Right forearm contusion, that's the same designation, so he's played with that designation for 3 games, so I imagine it's going to be borderline full-strength T-Wolves team with just McDaniels as out. This one in Minnesota, a couple games back, we saw Patrick Beverly get the best of Luka. Will that happen again today? And Minnesota, we've talked about it, their pace is so high, and their defensive efficiency has been really great as well. But because of their physical style of defense, they also draw or they also commit a lot of fouls, and they lead the league in free throws allowed in the in the last couple months. So Luka free throws was something we were privy to a couple games ago, and that was just ended up being one of those games where Beverly did his thing. Luka's at 5 free throws now.
I like that.
What we do? Okay.
I like it. I mean, he just wasn't getting the calls. I mean, it was weird because it was a home game for the Mavs too, and he was just kept looking at the ref like, "Are you serious? Are you watching? Are you seeing this? What Pat Bev is doing?" And he just wasn't getting it. I think they're gonna talk to the officiating crew before the game starts and be like, "Look, man, this can't go down. Can you put an early stop at it? Calling fouls." And yeah, I mean, the T-Wolves, they just continue to foul so much. I was watching that game recently. They played the Suns, and I think Booker went to the line at least 10 plus times. He had I think he finished with almost 10 free throws. Mm-hmm. And Naz Reid was just fouling like crazy. I think all the guys had 2 or more fouls, and Cat was in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls going into the second half, and or third quarter, and he had to sit on the bench a lot of the game. So I could still get on this 5 free throws. And then I like his assist prop too. Now that we had that stretch of games. I don't know if you remember where he was just killing his assist prop, and then there's a period of time where he just wasn't passing it, and he was just dominating the usage and shot volume. And I think a lot of that was due to there was guys being out. Reggie was out for periods of time. You had Brunson sitting games here and there, and then various other guys, shooters around him were sitting and were out. And I just think that he had to put the load on his back and shoot more. Now that they're kind of forming and back and gelling back as this new unit, I think he's gonna look to pass more, especially with guys that Pat Bev on him. And if Dwight Powell keeps it up against this matchup where he thrived last game, I could get behind his assists if we're worried about the officiating crew. I'm looking for who it's gonna be, and I want to look into that because I think that's really gonna play a key role in how they call this. I want to see how they call Pat Bev games too, because if they let Pat Bev do his thing, then I want to stay away maybe from his free throw prop. Yeah, so that's where I'm leaning for the Mavs. And do we have a Dwight Powell fantasy score yet?
For Mr. Powell,
We do not.
have no. We have 17.5 PRA, 10.5 real
Okay.
points.
So if it opened at 17 FPRA, if it opened at 25 or less, it's probably a core play for us, right?
For Powell,
Yeah. I mean, he just went nuclear against them. They had no answer for him.
yeah, I mean he did. I'm still very hesitant on trusting that front court rotation, but yes, if it is low 20s, I'd probably take a dab at it.
I just see the T-Wolves giving Powell full run because it worked so well. Like, I don't know why they would change it and give Chris run.
Yeah, I agree. I said Chris Clay, but I don't know. But yes, if it does stay low, I'd probably take it. Let's drive down a Jalen Brunson road here, huh? You want to take a drive?
Yeah.
Brunson, I've got him for 32 minutes right now. I'm getting 34 fantasy points. I think what I want to look at is Brunson first half real points.
Okay.
So let's pull up.
That's a staple.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, right? Let's pull up NBA first half. Let's pull up Mavericks here. Jalen Brunson's listed at 7.5 points in the first half. I'm going to look at some first half rotations lately, but I really just need to focus on the Luka game. So we'll go to that Minnesota first half. Jalen Brunson played 8 minutes his first stretch, 5 points. 5 minutes the second stretch, 2 points. So that's 7. Close out there looks like on the fence, 7.5. And then against Charlotte, Jalen Brunson had 2 points in his first 6 minute stretch and 8 points, so 10. It's kind of a fringe play, but a couple people have been mentioning Jalen Brunson first half real points. I'm on the fence, but I definitely think it's justifiable, especially if the Mavs come out a little bit more inspired to come correct after that last outing.
Yeah.
But there's certainly, from a real, that was one of those games where analytics can't really tell the story
Yeah.
of what was happening. It was one of those emotionally charged games. And the Timberwolves, to their credit, have become the bad boys when it comes to attitude on the court.
That's a very good way to put it. Yeah, for sure.
We have seen
Pat Bev effect, right?
Patrick Beverly. We've seen Karl Anthony Towns start talking while he's out there. We even saw Cat BAN LeBron James, if you know what I mean. And I don't know. I mean, that's just one of those things where games get a little spicy. I think Jay Crowder the other night, dang near got ejected, dealing with the T-Wolves here. So they're gonna bring it to you and they're gonna talk some trash. And that's the type of stuff that can't really quantify in metrics other than just looking at fouls and whatnot. So if they are able to play that style of basketball with home court advantage here, this game could get a little freaky. It is a 3-point spread here, favor of the T-Wolves, but you gotta love at least some of these seasonal averages for the Mavericks to have a shot at increasing, because this is the slowest paced team in the league going against the fastest paced team in the league. So some of these guys that could thrive in that spot, like the Dwight Powell, the Brunsons of the world, maybe even Dinwiddie's, I can get behind. But I want to see some fantasy point opportunities start to develop here. Right now, it doesn't look like we're going to have many. But I do like that assist call, because even if we game script another tough night for Luka. Kind of like we were talking about Jokic yesterday. Luka will adjust, and if he's got to pass more, he'll pass more.
Yeah.
And even while having that down game against Beverly in that defense, he cleared this 8.5 assists. So I do like 8.5 assists as a line to target. Matter of fact, let me go look at OddsJam and pull up that game and just kind of see what the books are at on Luka's 8.5 assist line, and generally see what the VIG is costing the normal over. So we'll go to player points, player assists. Here we go. Shout out to OddsJam, by the way. Luka's at 8.5, and looks like it's pretty even between over and under. So I think that's an appropriate line. But because of the extra implied possessions, I'm digging the over 8.5, especially when the season average, as the slowest pace team in the league, is 8.6. So I'll take the over 8.5. So in our little list here, which still don't have like the Mormon fuzzies yet, but this one I'm feeling a little bit more confident in. Luka Doncic.
Yeah,
over
I feel pretty good about Luka. Those two props. Yeah, those two.
And
props
free throws.
Yeah. Pending who the fishing crew is. And then on the Timberwolves side, they have Pat Bev's block steal prop still up. They introduced this the last 2 games. I could always get on that because of his style of play, and like we talk about, he's aggressive on defense and he does rack up the stocks. And Luka is prone to turn it over too, because he's a passer and he's going to try to force those plays. And then they have Anthony Edwards 2.5 threes is always in play, but the perimeter defense of the Mavs always makes me worry. But I mean, just the Timberwolves just shoot the 3 ball at such a high rate, and I mean they continue to lead the league in 3-point made. But yeah, it's so hard to call these guys, the big 3, because they eat into each other, and then the bench eats into the starters. Like when the bench has flashed games where they go off and ended up getting more run because they're playing so well. Because guys like Beasley and Noel can get hot from 3, and then they'll just end up playing more minutes than usual for their usual run. So probably Pat Bev block steal I consider, and then I'm waiting on Cat props once he's announced back in, because the Mavs, if they do have a weakness, it is in the interior. So I would probably want to target one of his if I was going to target a T-Wolves guy. Right. Anything stand out to you?
No, I think that Beverly 1.5 blocks of steals is interesting. So I'm gonna add that to the list.
I think he had
He had 3.
that game I remember watching. He had multiple blocks or steals on Luka.
Yeah.
I
went to request a tea from Danielle.
Yeah.
I'm just so used to typing DAN enter. And it said, "It's my bad, Danny P. I didn't mean to call you babe." Whoops. Thank you, babe.
Nice.
Whoops. So yeah, we got a couple games left here. Houston Rockets and the Portland Trail Blazers next game on the docket. Rockets are somewhat full strength here. Just John Wall and Garuba probably won't touch the court here unless they give us some of those midday veteran outs for like Eric Gordon, stuff like that. Wouldn't be a crazy outcome, but we get a massive total, 234 here, 3.5 point spread in favor of the Houston Rockets. And the Portland Trail Blazers not always getting put in matchups where they are implied to keep the game competitive. Chris Dunn the other night started over Brandon Williams, and I think that was the last night on his 10-day contract. He ended up getting another 10-day deal, and then I think Justice Winslow. Somebody got injured at half. And
yeah, Winslow did. Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
All right, so Winslow got injured at half, and then the second half, the Blazers came out with a lineup that saw Trendon Watford, CJ Ellaby, Drew Eubanks, Chris Dunn, and Brandon Williams. So I'm going to go double down on that starting lineup from the second half and kind of project that to be the starting lineup here. I think we're going to end up liking this game more so in the front court for the Blazers than have any strong leans elsewhere.
Yeah.
With that said, Watford and Eubanks are probably the two topics or the 2 point of interest
Yeah.
for discussion. The Blazers prop board for the price picks here has 31 fantasy points on Watford, and Eubanks is listed at 31. Each of those guys I have over 31 in my projections, 36 and 38. So that's probably a good starting point if we want to start getting some action to that front court. The Rockets have been hemorrhaging points everywhere, but especially the front court. If we look at that team DVP chart and the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, Rockets allow the most fantasy points per game to opposing centers and the most fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. And for fantasy, I would say Watford and Eubanks have been the more consistent bright
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah.
So that's where I would start. Do you like both of those overs?
Yeah.
And would you wedge between them to not overlap, or does it not matter because it's the Rockets?
I don't think it matters. Yeah, because it's the Rockets, and Eubanks is going to soak up all the production and the pain. And Watford, I mean, defensively, he's just, yeah, he's so active and he racks up the stocks, and that's why he's always in foul trouble. I'm hoping that he can do a little bit better in this matchup. I'd probably say, yeah, I want to target fantasy score because it's the Rockets. So, like you said, just both of their fantasy score, and then if I'm gonna just consider any others, it would be Brandon Williams 1.5 block steal. He has flashed some upside in the stock world, and it's the Rockets, especially Kevin Porter. It's just never fun clicking on Brandon Williams, but you know what? If we're going in on this Blazers game, we got to go full in. So I could consider that. And then the last tertiary would be CJ Ellaby 9.5 points. Just because with Winslow being out, should be a little bit more shot volume for Ellaby. But I wouldn't feel real comfortable with. But Watford and Eubanks, I can definitely get with that, and just hope that they don't get in foul trouble. Because they don't get in foul trouble, they're gonna play no matter what. They're gonna play into garbage time. If somehow this game doesn't stay close, the Rockets show up and just run them off the court. So I'm not worried about blowout script for those guys. It's just the foul trouble. That's it.
Yeah,
And
not to interrupt, but the Blazers are full of 10-day contract guys. So
yeah, Eubanks is on his fourth one.
Fourth 10-day contract. Chris Dunn's on his second. Like these guys are actually playing to get jobs somewhere.
Yes.
So the tanking aspect of it is whatever, but these guys are not only are they playing to get jobs, but it's also the team has no incentive to rest them in blowouts, so we can feel kind of safe about their minutes.
Yeah, and I think guys like Watford, I don't know. Billups did pull him early in that last game. I don't know why. He didn't get his normal fourth quarter on. I think it was because he had Eubanks closed because it was a revenge narrative for him against the Spurs. So I'm hoping that's the case. But I assume that both Eubanks and Watford will close no matter what the game script will be. So
yeah, he closed with Greg Brown and Keon Johnson. So Greg Brown. Maybe we also had 4 fouls on Wofford, and maybe just got.
Oh yeah, he lives with 4 fouls the whole game usually. He usually gets it like in the second quarter or third quarter. Yeah, I've been watching. I'm telling you, man, this team they live on the edge with fouls. Like all of them have around 4 fouls. So
the Rockets are very, very annoying.
yes.
Especially when they're healthy. I've got 30-plus minutes on Porter, Jalen Green, and Christian Wood. But as we saw last game, really, you look at the last 3 games for Christian Wood, you see the full Christian Wood experience. You know what I mean? You get the 29 fantasy points in 27 minutes because early foul trouble and blowouts, and then you get the 63 fantasy points because he's unstoppable. And then you get the 22 in 21 minutes because of a lopsided game. Well, like we talked about, this game being a spot where, if anything, the Rockets should be implied to win, and they are. But if there was a blowout to occur, you would think it's on the other side. So, a safe spot to get access to Christian Wood theoretically, as long as he stays out of foul trouble. He is listed at 37 fantasy points. He's also at 1.5 blocks and steals. Does it feel like there's way more blocks and steals on the board today than we ever get?
Yeah,
I feel like we
maybe
only
it's
get like 2 or 3 a day.
maybe it's because they're noticing that it's so volatile that they're making money off of it. I don't know.
Well, my soft projections had Christian Wood at 43 to 44 fantasy points, 43.8, right there in the middle. That's going to give us a 5, 6, 7 point cushion between their projection and mine. So that might be a starting point. As bad as the Rockets have been against centers and power forwards, well, hey, the Blazers have been bad too. So good spot for Christian Wood if he stays out of foul trouble. And then they got him at 10.5 rebounds. It's probably right on the nose, but keep an eye out for the double-double prop. He has been somebody we've actually seen them list the double-double while also having a 10-point prop. And then anything else other than Christian Wood that we'd get to, I think Jalen Green, real points is intriguing, but also fantasy points on KPJ and Green. They have Jalen Green for 17.5 points and 26 fantasy points. So not going to do much more than score some real points.
Right.
But in this spot, 26, definitely a beatable number. Dallas and Memphis. Think about these two spots that he hasn't eclipsed 26 fantasy points. Dallas, slowest paced team in the league, and scoreboard check. It got away from him. And that was a game without Luka. They ended up losing by 20.
And Memphis, they got blown out too.
And Memphis we're talking about, they're not quite the Celtics, but they're better than the Celtics without Ja, but without sample size, other than 20 games. But, that's what I'm saying is that's a forgivable matchup to not be, efficient. So Jalen Green fantasy points to 26 might be something I can get behind. This is why are we here? This hurts, but it makes sense.
This is the hammer, man. This is our go-to game of the night. I like him a lot in this matchup. He did not touch the court in the fourth quarter in that Memphis game, and I think same for the Pacers. So I like his fantasy score or real point, and then I could give us some Kevin Porter fantasy score too. And Christian Wood, his 3 free throws made is interesting too. That's something we might want to consider, because like I said, the Blazers just they can't stop fouling, and Wood, he can get to the line, but the problem with him is he likes to take a lot of threes, and he'll just sit out in the top and shoot a lot of threes and not be in the paint to draw those fouls. Mm-hmm. So that would be my only holdback on him with that. But I like all 3 of these guys in this matchup. I mean, if they get full run, I don't see why they don't exceed their point or fantasy point value.
All right, we got one game left, chat. Before we do that, take a pause for the cause. We throw a lasso around all of the picks as more news develops throughout the day, as lines get sharper, as our projections get tightened, and those are listed every day in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Down here in the prop detector tab. If you guys want access to that, you don't have to tailor every single one of them, but if you're looking to mix and match some of yours with some of ours, that's there. You also get my player prop projections here. Fantasy points, rebounds, assists, PRA, 3-pointers made, free throws made. All this is a direct companion piece to the PrizePicks browsing experience. And then, of course, if you're into DFS, we got that too. And most importantly, we have the premium Discord, and every day for the 2 hours preceding the first game tipping off, we're right here in this NBA voice chat, and many times bleeding over as we watch the games and start sweating lineups and situations. So if that sounds good to you and you want to get a little bit more access to us, go to RunDFS.com, click VIP memberships. Find something for you. Try out the week pass. We do have a MLB season pass, and I know MLB season, baseball. It's actually for everything VIP. It's just MLB season encapsulates the time frame of the regular season, which is until October 5th. So if you're looking for a sweet little deal, $300 gets you locked into October 5th, and it comes with a $100 credit towards Fantasy Cruncher, so you can rebate that down if you're into DFS. We also have a free Discord, a free one, 100% free. Shout out to some of the recent cats jumping into this one. If you guys want to jump in here, there's a link in the description below. V Jeffers, Apollo, J Prophecy, Chris 03, Dance with Dice, you would too, Jim Degg, Big Daddy J, B Casty, One to Win, Too Raw Entertainment, Boomshock. All these guys jumped in here yesterday, got involved in this 324 giveaway, continue to do giveaways. We've been telling you we will. We did one yesterday for $20 via PayPal. We'll probably do a VIP membership soon within the next couple days to a week. And then, more cash giveaways. Hey, $20 for PayPal, that becomes a couple PrizePicks cards tonight, and it's happy hour, so it could be 20 of them. So shout out to you guys. And then, of course, the community has been really, really good at grinding and sharing ideas in the PrizePicks channel and the main channel. So if you're looking to network, create a community, and groupthink some picks and plays, man, definitely jump in the free Discord below. Last game on the docket is the 76ers and the Clippers. Sixers have been in LA for 3 days now, so there are some strippers that have paid their college tuition off thanks to James Harden.
Yep.
218 total, 5-point spread in favor of the Sixers. Sixers have a clean sheet when it comes to the injury report, and the Clippers gave us that little snippet from Ty Lue last night saying that they would be running out some minutes restrictions, or minutes limitations rather, on some of their key guys as they start getting guys ready for the postseason and playing for what's past the next 8 games. The Sixers still have stuff to play for, and anytime Joel Embiid touches the court right now, it's a argument for MVP, right? It's odds-on favorite. Him and Jokic tend to go back and forth, and then when it comes to seeding, they're only half a game back from the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're essentially tie-broken, I think, with the Celtics right now. So generally, teams like to be top 4 in seeding, so they can have home court advantage for as long as they can. So the Sixers, it's important to them to keep winning games here and maybe position themselves to get better matchups in the first round. So they need to win, and Joel Embiid out here trying to win MVP. So I'm probably going to not be too enthralled with the Clippers props, Josh, just because of the limitations, unless maybe we thought some unders were live.
Yeah.
But the Sixers, Joel Embiid lines, anything sticking out to you there? What do you want to do with this game, if anything?
Yeah, that's what my thought process was with the Clippers. If they opened up their props at their season average, which they did. Reggie's like at 18.5 points. Yeah, so they're still going off for their full season average, but we don't know if Ty Lue's actually gonna like enforce this full minute cap. So I probably want to see one game at least with this statement and make sure that he's actually really enforcing it. Because what if it's like fourth quarter and it's time for him to pull them out so that they're capped at their minutes, and he ends up running guys more because it's like a 2-point game or something like that. I that would just make me kind of concerned. But if he's actually gonna do this minute cap, yeah, the under makes sense because the books haven't adjusted to it. It looks like, but it just seems risky. So Reggie is supposed to. He said between 30 and 32 minutes he's gonna cap him.
Yeah,
he was
and 32 minutes. Not even like that's a crazy cap. You know what I mean? It's not like your 25-minute cap. So
sure.
And there are games where Reggie can just play 32 minutes, but the fact that it feels like that's a hard cap, yeah. But like you said, if push comes to shove and they hit overtime, are they just gonna not play, or what do they do?
But I mean, when Reggie has his ceiling games and he goes over the like 35 fantasy point mark, he usually plays 38 to 40 minutes. So that is about a full quarter run that he could potentially miss out on if he's capped at 30 to 32 minutes.
Yeah.
So okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would lean more to the under here. But do you think that's too risky?
I mean, I don't think it's. I think it's justifiable. Like even the PRA, if you want to take the under on PRA, I wouldn't hate that as well. They gave us 31 fantasy points. I had them for 37, so I'm still getting the over and on a 32-minute projection. So yeah, it's probably nothing I'm going to feel warm and fuzzy. And then like we say, coach speak. You can trust coaches as far as you can throw them. Although I might be able to lawn dart Ty Lue. Not gonna lie. I'm just kidding. That's stupid. I can't throw a human being. Anything on the Sixers side? I didn't realize we're running this far over.
We can.
Wait,
right now, I'm.
Did they just take? Oh no, okay.
I'm not a huge fan of this game in general, just because I want to see what this minute cap does to the game script first. So it's a wait and see for me on it right now. But and B would probably be the one, just because if he's going to be playing with that MVP motivation possibly.
Yeah, their projection on him is right in line with mine. So yeah, I'm not gonna force the issue here. But okay. I would say James Harden 2 threes.
I saw it. I knew.
And he's not even hitting it lately. That's annoying.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for you. Maxey 1.5 threes. What?
Yep. He's been crushing that for sure.
I'm not gonna do it. 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 Okay. Let me see what the line is on this. I gotta look at it. I got to know. I got to know. Chat, we'll be back in just a second with the DFS show. I'm not leaving just yet. I got to see what this is, but you guys looking for the DFS show? It's coming. Clippers, 76ers. Philadelphia. Player made threes. Using the odd sham. They have the over 1.5 for James Harden right now is minus 194 on FanDuel. Minus 190 on Caesars, minus 200 on BetMGM.
Well, is it 1.5 on FanDuel? Because it's 2 on PrizePicks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So 2 is where the lines will shift here momentarily, but I also wonder if it gets to 2.5 before long. And then Tyrese Maxey is at 1.5, minus 128 on the over. Perfect line should be 140. So. All right, that's about fair. But the 1.5 for Maxey sure does feel like something I'd probably add to the list here. You know what happens when you list 3-point props at 1.5? Huh? Do you? 1.5? I have a long list here, and then feel good about specifically one of them, maybe.
Which one's that?
It's probably these Blazers. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm scared. I need an adult. Chat, we'll be back momentarily. I appreciate you guys. Hey, hit that thumbs up, man. Over 110 of you guys we're hanging around here. So we've been doing positive numbers on this show. I appreciate that. So just hit that thumbs up, show a little love here. Get in that free Discord if you're not following us to the DFS streets for the next hour and a half. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys next time. Twitter.com/Gundacker. What up, Cowboys Nation 34? I will be back. We will be back. Stick around. This will bring you straight to the next stream. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money. It's Blazers Day.
I'll be right back. All right. Why you loading? Do you need to do anything, or are you switching channels?
Nah, you're good. You're good. Okay.